Welcome back. In the last video, we looked at the competitive landscape of your product. Now we're going to move ahead and look at which are the best products to sell online. How well is your product going to sell online? We're also going to look at whether you should stay niche or expand your product range. And finally, we'll look at some trends in the online market in South Africa today. To begin, what is it that I mean when I say the best product to sell online? Well, I don't mean the product that sells best online. What I'm meaning is the product that is best to sell online. So the three things to look at is price point of that product, the amount of support that's needed to sell that product, and the return rate. In terms of pricing, from my experience, anything from 500 bucks to 5,000 Rand is a great place to be selling your product at. It doesn't exclude everything else, but what it does mean is that products in that product range are a great business for you. Below that 500 Rand price point, you find it becomes less worthwhile for the consumer to actually buy the product. You know, if you're looking at a product for 100 bucks, it's definitely not worth buying it online if that's going to attract an 80 Rand delivery fee. You may as well just get it from the store the next time you're there. If you're looking at an expensive product, 5,000 Rand and more, often the customers need to put in a lot of thought in that product, in buying that product. So what that means is that they're going to reach out to your support team and they're going to be asking questions. And then after the fact, they might also need to come back to you for support and questions afterwards. It's just, that's just the nature of having a higher price point product. So by no means am I saying that those those product ranges should be avoided, but the product range that sits between 500 and 5,000 Rand will give you the margin with lower costs attached to that. So that's what I mean by the best product to sell online. The next thing to consider is the amount of support. I briefly mentioned the high-end products are going to attract support costs before and after, and those are actual costs. It's time cost, it's staff cost, there's courier fees if somebody's sending something back and forth, which actually brings me to the last point, returns. If you can find a product that has super low return rates, then let me tell you that's going to keep your costs down, and it's also easier, there's less time and hassle involved with that. So that kind of gives you a perspective of the best product to sell online. Now, you're probably sitting there saying, well, what's an example of this best product to sell online? And let me think of one. Okay, cool. So at Insaka, we also do e-commerce consulting. We work with a few companies to help improve their online sales. One of our new clients is Curalin. It's Cura Life, and they sell Curalin, which is a diabetes medication, or it's a homeopathic medication. If you can say it's a medication, I'm not sure. It's homeopathic medicine. And the product sells for $9.99, and there's very little pre-sale support because the customers can read about it online, and there's no returns. And in terms of after sale support, there's very little. They've given us statistics from around the world. There's not many people phoning to say that my product doesn't work, or more seriously, to give questions about it, because the information is given to them. So that's a product that is at the right price point where you've got margin and the people don't have to make phone calls in advance because it's a high price product, low returns, and there's very low support costs. So this is what I mean by the ideal product to sell online. But by no means does that exclude your products if it's outside of that, but just be aware of this. Let's now just move ahead to a tip that I can give you about how to assess how well your product's going to sell online. Do me a favor and jump across to Amazon.com. On Amazon, I want you to Google your product, search for your product, find your product. If you can't find the exact product, find a similar product, or if it's a service, you can find a book on that service. Now on the product page, open up the comments section. Open up the comments and take a look. The first thing you want to look at is, are there a lot of comments? If there's no comments, it means that there's not very many people buying your product. So just be aware of this. If there's a lot of comments, that's good news for you. There's a lot of people buying this product. Now we want to look at how many positive reviews are there and how many negative reviews are there. Now both of these things can give you a lot of value. You can filter the reviews by positive only and read through those to see what are people raving about. What was the problem that they had which was solved by this product, and now they are blown away, so blown away that they had to come and write a positive review about it. Read through that and pick out some really key points. And I'll tell you why in a second. Because the next thing you're going to do is filter the reviews by negative reviews only. Read about what people are hating about the product. Is it is not the right size, or does it not do what it's supposed to do? Is it really low quality, or did they buy it for some purpose and it didn't solve that problem? Now, those are key things to look at because it helps you to understand why people are buying the product, and importantly, it helps you to position your sales. Again, if we think about a bike light, and you think about if there's a positive review, well, let's think about a bike light. Okay, so there's a positive review focusing on the beam length. So you know that customers are looking for a good beam length. But in the negative review, you can get more value out of the customer review that perhaps says something like, I bought this product for a 24-hour mountain bike race. We raced through the night, and at 2 p.m. my light died, and I was left blinded, which is a bad situation. So now the positive that you can take out of that negative review is that people focus on, it's a high importance of battery life for this product. So the opportunity is to offer products that have longer battery life, or you can do a bundle with 2 batteries for 1 torch, so it's interchangeable, or do a bundle deal where you can offer 50% off your second battery. So there's a lot of stuff that you can do with this, a lot of value that can be taken from Amazon reviews. And similarly, you can also join up with Facebook groups, because inevitably there'll be Facebook groups about the product that you're wanting to sell, the product category, or about just the concept in general. Join the groups, read through other people's comments, positive and negative again. Take all the value you can possibly get, and then you can even post your own comments to kind of test the waters. Post something controversial, that always works, that gets a lot of attention. And you can do that as your market research to figure out how much your product is going to sell. All right, so the next thing we're going to look at is niche. Should we sell fewer products with more focus, or should we sell a wider product range where it's more stuff with less focus? The best way for me to address this is to tell a story of my previous company, Action Gear, where when I founded that business, it was actually called Action Cameras. So Action Cameras, you can see that's a niche business. We sold action cameras, and it was very difficult to expand our product range because people don't really think that they can buy a torch off Action Cameras. All right, so what I thought about is we've got this customer database, and these are all outdoor people. They are people who have bought action cameras, so they're riding motorbikes, they're riding mountain bikes, they're living the outdoor lifestyle. So let's take the opportunity to expand our product range and sell this database more products that we can, make more money off this. So we went through the process. Instead of just selling action cameras, in fact, I took this so seriously that I rebranded the company name from Action Cameras to Action Gear. Action Gear being a more generic name that we could sell any product under. So very quickly, we weren't just selling action cameras. Now we were selling torches, we were selling power banks, solar power banks, we were selling motorbike helmet-to-helmet communication devices, we were selling all kinds of stuff. Geez, like we were selling hunting knives, we were selling such a wide thing. And then we took on camping gear. Taking on camping gear like doubled our SKU range because suddenly we had another 1,000 products to upload onto our site. And we were really excited about this. We started seeing this new stuff selling, sales ticking over, sales ticking over, sales ticking over. And it got really exciting. So obviously with a wide product range like that, we wanted to use drop shipping as our method. The products that sold the most, we held that in stock. The products that sold few and far between, we drop shipped. Drop shipping is another kettle of fish altogether, and so much so that there's actually a dedicated course to teaching people how to drop ship with a South African focus because it's different overseas. But the one thing to keep in mind with drop shipping is the complexity of managing that order. If we have a GoPro in stock and somebody buys that GoPro, we pick it off the shelf and we send it to the customer. If somebody buys a tent, which we were drop shipping, we would need to receive the order, send off a purchase order, check that they've got stock, send our couriers to collect, then deliver it to the customer and manage that process because there's a lot of stuff that can go wrong with that. In fact, we learned that it was better to get it delivered to us first, then send it out. Time costs, courier costs, all these costs. So it became very complicated to run the business like this with a wide range of products. The other result of us expanding our product range is that our expertise, the customer expertise, which we were so widely known for, that was our thing, is customer service, customer and product expertise. We knew what we were talking about. But now somebody would phone us and our customer support guys would pick up a call. The call would go something like, that Extra Max beach chair? Can you tell me if that beach chair's got one cup holder or 2 cup holders? And now the customer support guy looks around the office. Nobody knows the answer, so promises to go back to the guy. You got to phone the supplier. They probably don't even know the answer to that, so they've got to go into the warehouse, check a product, do this, come back to you. We phone the customer back, and there's a lead time in that. And all of this, everything that happens in that situation is just reducing the customer experience. They know that we don't know what we're talking about anymore, and the fact that it took us a while to come back to them means that we're less likely to close a sale. So now it's taking us, there's more complexity in managing deliveries, and our the company's expertise in product expertise was diminishing. It was affecting our brand. And it got so dire that the office was always crazy. People running around organizing deliveries and people finding out information off each other. Does anybody know the answer to this product, about this product that I don't know anything about? And it got so bad that people were going, like, it was a stressful situation. And so I took the decision to overnight cull 80% of our product range. We went back to niche. And we did that quite simply by pulling up a spreadsheet, filtering it by what sells the most. Anything below the line gets taken off the site. And you'd be surprised. The next month, our sales went up. It was remarkable. I mean, it wasn't what I was expecting. We just took 80% of our product range off the site and our sales went up. How does that happen? It was amazing. So how does that happen? I'll tell you. What happened is that the office was quieter. The orders that came in, we generally had that product in stock. So it was easy to manage a delivery. And the guys the team was ready and available. Instead of rushing around trying to speak to suppliers about how many cup holders a camping chair has, they were ready to help the customers that phoned. And when the customers phoned, they knew the answers to the questions. They didn't have to run around to get their information. So we were back to being experts at what we were talking about. And it was easier for us to manage the process of delivering to the customer. So we went through this whole cycle of like starting niche, going max, going wide, and then coming back to niche. And for me, in the South African environment, the point of the story is that if you want people to come to your site and you're developing a brand around a product range, you need expertise in that product range so that people come to you to buy. If they are looking for a wide product range with no customer support, they're going to go to Takealot. That's just how it is. If they're looking for a better price, well, they're just going to go there. But if they want to support the guys that know about this product, or if they want to engage with you to ask about the product, that's what you need to be offering. You need to position yourself as an expert in this niche. So for me, that's a better opportunity in the South African environment, of course. Now, that doesn't mean you have to sell one product or 10 products. Niche can still be hundreds of products within one product category. Vegan foods, and that's a niche. And you can have, I don't know too much about vegan foods, but I'm sure there's a lot of products within that market. So it doesn't mean that you need to narrow it down to just a handful of products. It means you need to narrow down your focus and build expertise in your niche product range and build that as your brand. And that is, in my opinion, the greatest way to move forward in terms of your product and your business. All right, so as promised, I'm going to wrap up this lesson within the course on looking at some trends that are coming up in the market. So recently, not too long ago, I was at a Shopify conference, and there they were talking about some of the 2 hottest products selling online at the moment, being electronic accessories and the activewear, ladies' activewear, men's gym stuff, and just generally because people are using those clothes in everyday life. The electronic accessories is really key because everybody has electronics, sell them accessories. Now, both those spaces are super competitive, but there's great opportunity in there, and there's really good margins to be had there. So I'll just throw that out there. You can do with it what you like. Another trend that is coming up, and I've taken advantage of this myself, is the idea that you can buy off Alibaba and get really good product at really good margins. So the idea of buying from the East, made in China, a lot of people have the idea that that is cheap Chinese rubbish. That is no longer true. Of course, there is some cheap Chinese rubbish that comes out, but the Chinese suppliers, especially when you're buying through reputable dealers on Alibaba, the product that you're going to get is really remarkable. And the greatest thing about it is you've got amazing margins. There's buying off Alibaba and off the East is also not as easy as as just placing an order. In fact, it sounds like a sales pitch here, but there's a course on that. There's a course on buying from the East, because there's a lot of ways that you can lose money. There's a lot of ways you can make money. But the fact is that this is an upcoming trend where merchants like you and me are buying off Alibaba, bringing stuff into South Africa and selling it direct to consumer. Now, you can do that and you can end up selling your product retail at a lower price because you've got it in at a ridiculously low price, and you can make great margins. So that's a trend that you should definitely consider, look at. Jump on Alibaba.com, look for your products or accessories being a good opportunity for you, and see if you can bring some stuff in. And finally, the last trend, which I haven't taken advantage of, but I get really excited about this because I like using it as a consumer side, is the crates trend. The idea where you can put an order in on a recurring purchase. So you put in your credit card details once, and once a month, I get a box of mixed wines delivered to my door. Or I get a box of biltong and nuts delivered to my door. Or I can send a gift pack once every 6 months to my grandmother's house. And all of these crate trends, it represents a good opportunity where, firstly, you can bundle your product with different things. As soon as you start bundling, there's blended margins and you can make a bit more money and offer more value to the customer. But the greatest thing, what I just mentioned, is recurring. Recurring meaning that customers put in their credit card details once and their credit card gets hit over and over and over again and they're happy about it. Now that's a great business model. So in terms of a trend, that's something, if your product can fit within that trend, definitely go and check it out. It's a good opportunity to look at. All right, so this has been a long session looking at the various things about what's the best type of product to sell online, how you should position your product range, niche or wide, and some trends that you could perhaps take advantage of. In the next video, we're going to look at whether or not there is a market for your product and how big that market is. I will see you there.